Hi, my name is John Turnicliffe, President of the Marin County chapter of the California Republican Assembly, better known as CRA. Our chapter is Marin CRA, of course. We got started about a year ago. There were a few of us that were frustrated with the way Marin GOP was operating and its ineffectiveness, to put it best. And we found the California Republican Assembly and started a local chapter. At first there was just 15 of us to start, but we quickly grew as people heard there was an alternative source of conservative and Republican information and activities besides the Marin GOP. In a matter of a few months, our events were outgrowing theirs, and in fact, at the end of the year last year, we sold out our Christmas party in less than a year, or in 1 year. They didn't even have one. We sold out 150 people. So the people of Marin started tracking to our chapter of CRA versus going to the GOP. Fast forward to the primary election of last year, we urged a lot of our members, our MCRA members, to run for the Marin Central Committee seats that were open. They were on the ballot in the primary. And when that primary was calculated, MCRA members comprised 14 of the 21 seats on that committee. And at the organizational meeting, 5 out of the 5 elected executive committee members were all from the MCRA. And that's where the story starts. We had the organizational meeting at the end of January to seat new members on the Marin Central Committee. The prior chair, Jack Wilkinson, started the meeting. And as he started going into it, a few minutes with traditional things before we're going to get into the business part of it, he said there'd be no videos. Well, our committee, the new committee, had seen what had happened in the prior GOP meetings before, and there was sometimes conflict between one meeting and the next. The minutes didn't describe it. The new committee wanted video always. So the new committee said, no, we want video. At that point, Jack Wilkinson banged the gavel, said meeting adjourned, and walked out. After Wilkinson has left, we continued the meeting and elected the new executive committee, which all 5 were from the Marin County Republican Assembly. So it was a great night. The next day we started transitioning all of the bank accounts, storage lockers, software to the state GOP were the biggest items, and then a lot of smaller items over the next few days. Looking for documentation they didn't have readily available, but we got them important stuff for the bank account and the software. And that transitioned over within a day or two. A week later, I get an email from the state GOP said that somebody had complained about the way the meeting was run, which surprised me and the rest of the team because we ran it by the book, by Robert's rules from start to finish, and had it on video, so we knew there was no way we would have a problem. We then turned in our 75-page support package along with a 45-minute video showing the meeting had been run according to Robert's rules. When I got to the hearing of the state GOP's Proxies and Credentials Committee, I was told my impression the meeting might not have been run right was not the issue. The issue was that Jack Wilkinson, who was running the meeting at the beginning, said that there was a mob and riot and he felt danger and had to leave. I urge you to watch the accompanying videos. There are some shortened versions and some full-length versions. And you make your own determination if there was a riot or a mob scene or a sense of danger, as was agreed to by the Proxies and Credentials Committee in a 25-to-1 vote against the new members. As we tried to reverse engineer what had just happened, we're wondering who benefits from this. Because it was obviously, by looking at the video, you'll see there was no mob, there was no riot, there was no sense of danger, and you can even see when Wilkinson is walking out by himself, nobody's even looking at him, because everybody's looking forward as the meeting was continuing on. And what we came up with, and everybody on the outside that we asked, what could this possibly be, the consensus was it was a delegate steal. Every committee gets X amount of delegates. In the Marin County case, in this example, it was 9. 9 delegates that get to vote at the state level, at the state convention, for the state platform, for endorsements, for who's going to get the endorsements from the state party. And that's where all the action happens. That's when people, when they wonder why there are no Republicans in state office except for Ted Gaines, one position, I would say it comes down to one word: leadership. And the delegates that are being stolen, in my mind and everybody's mind that I showed this to, affect the state leadership. And the current leadership wants it to stay the way it is. Our delegates coming in want change. And seeing what they've done since the Delegates deal, and they've replaced them with Wilkinson's side, just by the delegates they've appointed, one can tell who is in the game, what is going on. And if you've wondered why California Republican politics is so ineffective, and what can you do about it, the only thing you can do about it is vote for the people on the central committee for your county, because they're the only ones that go to the conventions in Sacramento to vote for the state GOP leadership. You can't vote directly for them. The way you do it is vote through your county people. That's why it's so important to get people on the local committees that you agree with, which is what we had growing with our CRA movement before everybody went to the GOP, got on the ballot and got elected. So we were starting to grow the party, grow the movement, and now with the state intervening and saying that Jack Wilkinson and the prior committee get to select the delegates, that changes everything the voters voted for last March. I strongly urge you to watch the video. There are shortened versions and full-length versions, and you will see that there was no mob, there was no riot, there was no danger. There was no reason to take the delegates from the newly elected committee. And in concluding, I just want to say that if we want to have a chance at taking the state back, we need a strong Republican Party with strong leadership, which comes from the Central Committee representatives that go up and vote at the state level. For you Bay Area viewers who are old enough to remember when Bill Walsh was here, he first came here. The season before, they were 2-14, the worst team in the league. 3 years later, he won the Super Bowl. When President Trump came into office the first time, Obama said he's not going to be able to do anything with the economy unless he has a magic wand. Well, both of them beat expectations off the chart, and it was because of leadership. Leadership, leadership, leadership. And the way we're going to get good leadership in the California Republican Party is by the central committees having the vote that they feel and they've earned and deserve. And they can't be taken away from the GOP. What we need is a state Republican Party that encourages people to get involved at a local level, and that those people, when they sign up, know that they're going to be able to make a difference. They're not going to get stifled. So I would urge you to watch the videos, make comments, and share it far and wide. Because we can take back this state. There are people now that are saying the state's more than 50% red, but you can't tell that by anything on the news, of course. But we can make a difference.